What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an incredible day. I know I am. If you are, please feel free to smash the like button. I really enjoy likes and I really enjoy your face. That's right, you're handsome, Jimmy. I know your mom hasn't told you in about 3 weeks, but I do think you did a great job on your science project. Some kid named Jimmy is really freaking out right now. Seriously though, guys, if you guys could press the like button, I would really appreciate it. It helps the video do better. It gets me views, and everybody knows that I really like views. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the story time. Basically, today I'm going to be telling you guys the story of a time my lab partner in chemistry almost accidentally killed himself. Yeah, that's right. GG easy in the chat, everyone. Easy clap. He almost drank sulfuric acid because he's an idiot. I don't really know what else there is to say. So without further ado, let's get into the main story. The main tea. The tea, as the people would say. The James Charles scandal. The situation where I'm going to be selling some vitamins. The situation where my dad beats me. All these things and many more coming up. So my chemistry class was kind of a train wreck. We did not have the best teacher in the world. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with this story. Like, I feel like if our teacher had more than 4 brain cells, we might have actually been able to learn things in chemistry. But our teacher, I'm pretty sure, was just Googling what to do in a chemistry class and then following the steps. Like, if he would have found the wrong WikiHow article and it would have been like, make a bomb, next thing you know, we would have all been on an FBI watch list, alright? Like, he did not know what he was doing at all, and you could tell from the assignments. So, whatever. In my chemistry class, there's a portion of it that I think every high school has, which is called lab, and you have to do it in order to be approved by the state for these credits to count, right? So, you have to do a certain amount of labs in a semester, a certain amount of labs in a quarter, in order to get your grade to pass, which, honestly, labs are pretty fun if you have a good teacher. Like, my biology labs were always really fun, because my teacher was pretty solid. I got to dissect a frog, that was pretty chill, but my chemistry teacher was another story. I dreaded labs, only because the teacher was so disorganized that by the time we even figured out what we were supposed to be doing, the lab would be over. Like, our class period would be over, and he would never allocate more time to do it. So out of the 10 or 15 labs we're supposed to do throughout the year, I'm pretty sure I only got to do like 3 of them before we just ran out of time and it didn't happen, which is pretty shitty. You know, that's like one of the only reasons I took chemistry, is because I wanted to blow stuff up, and that's what I thought we were going to do in chemistry. So whatever. Something else that we had in my chemistry class is we had lab partners, right? Every now and then we would get a real gem. We didn't get to pick our lab partners. They were randomly assigned, which is the worst, because I actually had friends in that class. You know when your teacher's like, all right, we're going to be working with partners, so you give your best friend that look of like, hey, yo, bro, we about to light something on fire. Let's get it. Yeah. Me and my friends would do that look, only for him to be like, here's your seating chart for the lab, and it was the absolute worst. It was just the type of stuff that was annoying, and all year I never got to work with any of my friends, but the last lab of the year is what we're going to be talking about today. And basically what we were going to do is we were going to use this like little pipette thing, like something you use to liquid drop, like a little drop of liquid and sulfuric acid, and we were basically just going to be dropping acid on things. It was a pretty cool time. No teenage boy ever is going to be like, nah, I don't want to drop acid on something and watch it melt, because that's fun. That's really fun to do. So I'm pretty hyped for this one, and I happen to get paired with the dumbest kid in our class, and I'm going to call him Tony. And Tony was a real gem. I think Tony was the only person in our chemistry class that was actually somehow dumber than the teacher. At one point in the year, we had to explain to Tony that on the periodic table of elements, Earth was not one. He was convinced Earth, the entire planet, was just one element. You know, Earth was just one thing. Another thing that Tony would do that was pretty stupid is he had a knack for shocking himself. I don't understand how you can shock yourself more than once doing the same thing. He would come in and try to plug in a phone charger, an iPad, a laptop, whatever he was plugging in, and without fail, every time would shock himself. It's like when he was a kid and they were teaching him how to plug things into a wall. They were just like, yeah, all right, so you basically want to plug it in until you feel a shock, and that's when you know you've done a good job. So Tony was not the smartest kid in the world. I don't know if all the electric shocks he had fried his brain or just messed with his circuitry or what, but he was definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed by any means or stretch of the imagination. Tony was a little bit of a dunce, let's be real here. So I get assigned to Tony for the sulfuric acid experiment, and I'm internally groaning, you know, like when you just get stuck with a stupid kid, you know that you're gonna have to do all the work to get the good grade. Like, there was no way I'm gonna get to have fun with acid, because I'm actually gonna have to try. I love getting put with people smarter than me on group projects, because that means that I don't have to do as much work. And I know what you're thinking, Ryan, that's kind of crappy. but it's just true. If I get put with somebody trying to get into Harvard, you know, they're going to do all the work, and then I can just sit back and drop acid on stuff and have a good time. But now I had to be the kid going to Harvard, and I dropped out of college, so I was never getting in the first place. So whatever, me and Tony sit together, I move over to my seat, and he immediately starts telling me about how excited he is for the experiment. He's never tasted sulfuric acid before, and I'm like, dude, you can't eat sulfuric acid. I'm pretty sure it's lethal. And he's like, nah, man, nah, I've heard it tastes really good. My friends told me that it tastes good. And I'm like, dude, no, sulfuric acid, you can't eat it. Like, it has acid in it. When in the history of the world have you ever been sitting there, something named acid comes out on a plate, and you're like, yummy? Never, because you shouldn't eat acid. Who in their right mind told this kid that eating acid is a good thing? And if you did tell him that, why? Why would you tell someone so stupid that eating acid is what you should do in a chemistry class? So I'm trying to explain to him very, very slowly that you shouldn't eat acid. Like, you really should not eat acid because you're going to die. And he's rolling his eyes at me, telling me that his friends wouldn't lie to him, and I'm like, no, Tony, they did lie to you. You shouldn't eat. Why would you think eating acid is ever a good idea? But that's how dumb this kid was. So I'm trying to explain it to him, and my teacher gets mad at me and asks me to stop talking so he can explain the lab. And I'm like, yes, Mr. Poindexter, you absolute god of science. How dare I interrupt you in your long-term substitute career? I'm so sorry. Please take the lead on this experiment, Bill Nye the Science Guy, while I try to save your student from drinking sulfuric acid. And he breaks down how we're supposed to drop the acid onto the objects. We're supposed to take the little eyedropper, get a drop of sulfuric acid, and drop it onto something. That's literally all we were supposed to do. Just a drop, nothing too crazy. He shows us how to do it, and then does a very specific warning. Do not get it on your skin, do not get it in your eye, and do not ingest it. It is acid and it's dangerous for you. And I kind of give Tony this look like, see, I told you, eating acid is not a good idea. It's not going to end well, and something tells me that swallowing sulfuric acid might hurt your tum-tums a little bit. You know, when you've had Chuck E. Cheese pizza that's been reheated and taken from other customers, that's what your tummy's going to feel like if you try to drink sulfuric acid, Tony. So let's just calm down and not do that. Can you do me a favor, Tony? Just for 5 minutes, don't try to eat sulfuric acid, please. Once I leave the classroom and I'm not responsible for you anymore, you are more than welcome to eat all the acid you want. Kind of like a babysitter, you know? Like, if the babysitter leaves the house and then your kid cracks their head open, it's not really their responsibility anymore. So we get our sulfuric acid, and the first thing we do is we get this little eyedropper thing. We get a drop of sulfuric acid, we put it on something, it starts to melt, and we're like, yo, look at that. That's so dope, you know? Like, melting things is cool. Me and Tony are actually having a good time. We're bonding. For 1 second, he gazes into my eyes, and I go in for the kiss. No, I'm kidding. Me and Tony are having fun dropping pipettes on everything, and I go to get our other object, and because after the first one I had to go get another object to drop the acid on, obviously. So I get up and I'm like, hey, I'll be right back. And I go over and I grab the next object we're supposed to melt. I turn around and he has the dropper up to his mouth, about to drop. He's about to drop the sulfuric acid into his mouth. Literally the one thing I told him not to do. So I scream, Tony, like, what are you doing, dude? Why? Stop. And he looks at me, and our teacher looks at me, and he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, Tony's about to drink sulfuric acid like it's the new Gatorade flavor of the month, all right? And he starts saying, Tony, no. And I'm not even kidding you. He has it, like, up to his lips. And he goes, what? I don't even think it's that big of a deal. And he goes, no, it'll kill you. And Tony's like, yeah, no, it won't, bro. My dad says that he used to do it all the time. And I was like, oh, that would explain a lot. Your dad probably did drink sulfuric acid. That would explain your intelligence quite a bit, Tony. Anyways, we tell him that there's no way his dad used to drink it all the time. There's simply, like, there's no way your dad was a professional sulfuric acid drinker in high school. That's just not possible. People don't survive these things, Tony. You ever see someone or somebody's family and you're really not quite sure how the person survived this long? Like, you really have no idea how in the world this person and their family has managed to reproduce and exist for the last, 500 years. It just makes no sense to you. Like, you're actually confused as to how and why somebody would reproduce with the people of this person's family. That's how I felt looking at Tony in this moment. After watching him try to drink acid, I literally had to hold myself back from slapping him across the forehead and saying, your grandfather didn't get this lucky for you to blow it now. In reality, though, after that, we finished our experiment, and Tony surprisingly graduated high school. I don't know how, because the kid was about to drink acid, but he did. But on that note, guys, I think that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of the video, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. I'm out. Bye. Oh, and don't get anyone pregnant. Bye.